Once your sock foot is the correct length, we need to shape the toe. This is done with simple decreases every 2 to 3 rounds, depending on the shape you want. A rounder toe will have decreases done every 3rd row. Either way, remember that toe shaping will add 2 inches to the length of the foot, so plan accordingly. With toe shaping, you will be decreasing on both the instep and the sole needles. Most of the time, if you were doing a pattern stitch on the instep of the foot, you would end it now and switch to knitting only. On the first needle, you're going to knit 1 and then do a slip, slip, knit. Slip as if to knit, slip as if to knit. Put your left needle in the front of those 2 stitches and knit them together. Then you're going to knit across until you have 3 stitches left on this instep needle. 1. When you have 3 stitches left, you're going to knit 2 together and then knit 1. Then you're going to turn and repeat that on the sole stitches for the bottom of the foot. Knit 1, slip, slip, knit, then knit across the foot, till you have 3 stitches left. And then you're going to knit 2 together and knit 1. Then we're going to just knit all the way around without any decreases. You will repeat those 2 rounds for this sock 3 more times, so a total of 4 times for each row. That will leave you with 8 stitches on your needles. Once we have the desired number of stitches on our 2 needles, it's time to graft them together so our toes don't hang out. Kitchener's stitch is one way of doing grafting. It has a bad rap as a complicated procedure that is really just a 4-step process that is repeated for each pair of stitches. To get things ready, we need to do a quick setup. You will need to cut your yarn, leaving a tail that is about at least 3 times longer than the length of the seam you're going to create. For our sock, 8 stitches, 10 inches should do. I have quite a bit more than that. I've actually added this in a different color so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. Thread the tail onto a tapestry needle with the yarn coming from the back needle. And now we're ready. We are going to enter the first stitch on the front needle as if to purl and pull the yarn all the way through. Then we're going to enter the first stitch on the back needle as if to knit, but keep the yarn under the needle tips. You don't want to be going over. All right, now here's our 4-step process. Step 1, enter the first stitch on the front needle as if to knit, pull the yarn all the way through and slide that stitch off. Then go to the next stitch, step 2, on the front needle and enter it as if to purl and pull the yarn all the way through. Now we're going to go to the back needle, go into the first stitch on the back needle, step 3, as if to purl. Remember, keep the yarn under the tips of the needles and slide that stitch off. Being careful you don't slide the one up front off. And now go into the next stitch on the back needle as if to knit, keeping that yarn under the tips of the needles. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go again. Step 1. Enter the first stitch on the front needle as if to knit. Pull the yarn all the way through, slide it off. Next stitch on the front needle as if to purl. Pull the yarn all the way through, leave it on. Step 3, enter the first stitch on the back needle as if to purl. Keep that yarn under the needle tips and slide that stitch off. And now the next stitch on the back needle as if to knit and leave it on. You're going to repeat those 4 steps for every pair of stitches until you get to the end. Lots of people have a chant that they do as they're doing this. So knit, off, purl, on, purl, off, knit, on. And what you can see is that we're making a seam that's going back and forth and bringing those stitches together. All right. Knit, off, purl, on, purl, getting caught, off, knit, on, knit. All right, this is annoying. Off, purl, on, purl, off, knit, on. All right, couple more. We're almost done. Knit, off, purl, on, purl, off, knit, on. All right, when you get to the last ones, again, second to last stitch, knit, off. We're going to purl and leave on this front one. And then purl off. And knit on. All right, so now when this is all the stitches you have left, these are already captured. You don't have to do the last 2 steps. Slide them off, pull it tight, and then I tend to just dive that in to the inside so I don't get a bunny ear. But you can't really see my stitches there, but that's our grafting stitch. Good luck.